Hey there, Hofstra fans, and a welcome inside the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. Nick Flasher joined each and every week by the head coach of the Hofstra Field Hockey team, Angelis. Welcome back.
Great being here, as always.
Well, let's look over the two games this past week. First, you had Sacred Heart at Hofstra Field Hockey Stadium on Friday. A 9-1 victory. Overall, a very good performance, outshooting the Pioneers by a total of 36-3. Just your takeaway from that game on Friday.
Well, we came prepared to play in the rain, and I think it was our toughness and work ethic that really created the domination. And crediting the 9 goals on the striker line and the middies who scored, definitely something I want to do. But I think the biggest factor was our defensive structure from our back line and our midline, and it was the back line and the midline that held that such a great shape that allowed us to stay in the attacking third.
And then you go to Sunday against Columbia, a little closer matchup, 4-3. You get the victory over the Columbia Lions. Had a 3-0 lead. Columbia made it interesting in the second half, 3-2. But then Madison Reed scores her first career goal, gives you the 4-2 lead, and you end up securing the 4-3 victory. What are your takeaways?
Well, we came out. Our game plan, we knew we had to play hard early, so we did that, and we played a very, very consistent first half. The second half was a little bit different for us, and it wasn't the up-tempo game that we wanted to create for 70 minutes, and it was absolutely nothing like that. And unfortunately, Columbia came with that up-tempo game in the second half and made the game very, very interesting. And I think I personally was a little bit disappointed that we didn't come back out. We came a little flat, and we didn't have that real work ethic that we've had. I think Columbia is a very good team, and we might not have been prepared for them to press us. They pressed us all over the field, and particularly I have to say our back line did a very good job under the pressure, but we didn't outlet the ball like we did in the first half, and that led to some major turnovers, and they collected on it. 2
more wins this past week, and now 8 straight victories for this team, really riding on a high right now. Claudia Marin-Samper in the CAA Player of the Week. 3rd straight week a Hofstra player has been able to receive the vote. 23rd in the RPI that came out today. So just going into with now CAA starting this week, what's the confidence of this team knowing that this is the big chunk and the most important part of the schedule?
Well, we know that we've had a very impressive non-league schedule, and to win 10 games, and I think it could have been 11, maybe 12. Nothing we can do about that now, but we've been very impressive, and we've worked very, very hard, and I don't want to say, and we came away with a huge win against Columbia, so don't get me wrong when I put those statements out there, but the team will attest to that. It just wasn't there in the second half, but we've put ourselves in the best possible position to be prepared for a top team like Delaware. We're confident. We've done a lot of different things on our presses. Our players are very flexible to make changes. I think the flexibility, I need to credit the players and their ability to make changes and to really work hard to adapt to different systems that we have used, and it has been the players that have been so adaptive and flexible that has allowed us to try different things and put different challenges on our team, and it's the challenges that we've put on this team that have put us in a great position for this coming Friday.
Well, let's finally talk about this Friday. The University of Delaware comes to Hofstra Field Hockey Stadium. #1 preseason team, back-to-back defending champions of the CAA. So far in the season, they're a nationally ranked team, 10-2, but they have lost already in the CAA. What is going to be the most important thing to try and defeat Delaware, a team that you did beat last season as well?
Right. Well, we're ready tactically and certainly technically, physically and mentally. I think we are right where we need to be. So we wanted to peak by this weekend. And definitely Sunday's game was a great prep for us and to get us even more prepared for this coming Friday. But I think the most important thing is for us to continue to work on our defensive structure and our pressing. And the key to it is going to be our work ethic and to maintain that for 70 minutes.
There's a few players that Delaware does have. It'll be tough to stop. You have Michaela Patzner, you have Esme P. alongside Lisa Giesman as well. A lot of options that they do have on the attack as well. So what's going to be the most difficult part, at least trying to stop that?
Right. Well, they have a lot of talented players, and you mentioned a few of those players. I think it's important, again, and I've said all year, we need to focus on what Hofstra is capable of doing. We certainly are aware of those players, and we have to be aware of those players and what we can do to counter their attack. But if we play with the defensive systems that we've been playing with, and we're able to really execute those under the higher pressure, which we've been able to do, and I think that's going to be the key, really, to keep our shape all over the field. That's huge when you play a team like Delaware.
And going before the season, the team was picked preseason number 6 by the conference. Is the cliche, is that bulletin board material as you guys get ready now for the CAAs?
Well, you know, the rankings to us, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And, you know, when you see some of those rankings, they've got players that have, you know, big names, and they were high-level recruits. So I think when you have that on a team, it's a package, and it's easy to have them be ranked where they are. And certainly, you know, they've earned some of the big wins that they've had, and where they ended off last year, and being in the championship at Northeastern last year. So those are a lot of reasons why the rankings are the way they are. But, you know, I think we've been very focused on what we can do, and we haven't let that bother us, and we haven't thought about it. And hey, listen, we're having a great year, and this is a historical year for us, and to have all these awards that we've had, and also just to be winning as a team, I think is really the biggest component that I feel is why we're winning, is because we are a true team.
And then after Friday, it'll be Sunday against the Towson Tigers, 2-10 on the season, 0-2 in the conference so far. Beat this team 4-2 last season, so a quick preview on the Tigers.
Well, you know, despite their record, you know, we can't look any differently than we do at Delaware or any other team in the CAA, and I consider it another opportunity to get better, an opportunity that we can win the game and start to put ourselves in a position for being in the top 4, which is not going to be an easy task, but we can get there. I mean, we look at the team where they are now, but I also see a great potential with this team and where we can be.
She's the head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey Team, Kathy Angelis. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great being here, like I said.
You've been watching the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com.